History is full of stories about men, but what about the women who shaped the world? For centuries, women have led empires, inspired revolutions, and challenged the limits of their time, yet many of their names have been forgotten. In this video, we will uncover the lives of remarkable women who changed history. From queens and warriors to thinkers and scientists, their stories prove that women have always been forces of power, courage, and wisdom, even when the world tried to erase them. Purandokht, the first woman to rule an empire. Over 1,300 years ago, the Persian Empire was falling apart. Civil wars, assassinations, and chaos were everywhere. Kings came and went in months. Then, something extraordinary happened. A woman became the ruler of Persia. Her name was Queen Purandokht, daughter of King Khosrow II. She was not just a queen. She was the first woman in recorded history to rule over an empire. At a time when women had no political power, Purandokht faced a crumbling nation and powerful nobles who refused to accept her. But she proved them wrong. She lowered taxes to help the poor, restored justice in the courts, and rebuilt cities destroyed by war. Instead of endless fighting, she sought peace with enemies, something rare for rulers of her time. For a brief but shining moment, she brought hope and stability back to Persia. After her death, the empire fell into deeper chaos, and her name slowly disappeared from history. Purandokht's story reminds us that even in the darkest times, wisdom, courage, and compassion can change the world, regardless of gender. Hatshepsut, the pharaoh who defied tradition. Over 3,500 years ago, in ancient Egypt, a young woman did what no other woman had done before. She became pharaoh. Her name was Hatshepsut, and she ruled Egypt for over 20 years, longer than many of her male predecessors. In a male-dominated society, Hatshepsut wore the symbols of kingship and commanded respect. She expanded trade routes, built magnificent temples, and brought Egypt to unprecedented wealth and stability. Hatshepsut's reign was marked by peace and prosperity, not war. She proved that leadership was not about gender. It was about vision, courage, and intelligence. After her death, many tried to erase her name and images from monuments. But today, historians recognize her as one of the greatest pharaohs in Egyptian history. Joan of Arc, the teenage warrior who defied an empire. In 15th century France, the country was torn apart by the 100 Years' War with England. A young peasant girl named Joan of Arc, only 17 years old, claimed she received visions from God calling her to lead France to victory. Despite being a teenager and a woman in a male-dominated military world, Joan convinced the French army to trust her. She led several key battles, lifted the siege of Orleans, and inspired hope in a country on the brink of collapse. Her courage came at a high cost. She was eventually captured by enemy forces, tried for heresy, and burned at the stake at just 19. Yet Joan of Arc became a timeless symbol of bravery, faith, and the power of conviction, inspiring millions around the world for centuries. Theodora, the Empress, who ruled from behind the throne. Over 1,500 years ago, Theodora rose from humble origins to become the Empress of the Byzantine Empire alongside Emperor Justinian. She wasn't just a consort, she played a key role in shaping the empire's policies. Theodora championed women's rights, fought for the protection of marginalized groups, and helped pass laws that improved the lives of women and children. During the Nika riots, when the empire faced a massive uprising, Theodora convinced Justinian to stay and fight, helping save the throne and prevent the fall of the empire. Her intelligence, political skill, and courage made her one of the most powerful and influential women of her era, even in a society dominated by men. Sorkhokhtani Beki, the mother who shaped an empire. In the 13th century, the Mongol Empire stretched across much of Asia and Europe. Sorkhokhtani Beki, mother of Kublai Khan, and other influential Mongol leaders, was a master strategist and political advisor. She effectively managed the empire's internal affairs during times of war and succession struggles. Sorkhokhtani advised her sons, mediated disputes, and maintained stability across one of the largest empires in history. Through her guidance, the Mongol Empire remained cohesive, prosperous, and politically stable, showing that even in a male-dominated society, a woman could wield extraordinary influence. Her legacy reminds us that true power isn't always visible on the battlefield. Sometimes, it's the wisdom behind the throne that shapes history. Malala Yousafzai, the young advocate for girls' education. Born in Pakistan, Malala Yousafzai became a global symbol for girls' education and human rights. At a very young age, she spoke out against restrictions on girls' schooling and survived a targeted attack by extremists. Her courage brought worldwide attention to the importance of education for all, especially girls, and she became the youngest ever Nobel Peace Prize winner. Malala continues to inspire millions, proving that even one voice can change the world. Rosalind Franklin, the scientist behind DNA. In the 20th century, Rosalind Franklin, a British chemist and X-ray crystallographer, played a crucial role in one of the greatest scientific discoveries, the structure of DNA. Her X-ray diffraction images of DNA provided the evidence that enabled James Watson and Francis Crick to determine the double helix structure. Despite her vital contributions, she was largely overlooked during her lifetime, and recognition went to her male colleagues. Franklin's story reminds us that women have always been at the forefront of scientific breakthroughs, even when history fails to acknowledge them. Her perseverance and brilliance continue to inspire scientists around the world. Katherine Johnson, the mathematician who sent humans to space. Katherine Johnson, an African-American mathematician at NASA, was one of the key figures behind America's early space missions. She calculated precise trajectories for the Mercury and Apollo missions, including the historic 1969 moon landing. Despite facing both racial and gender discrimination, she excelled in her field, showing that intelligence and determination can overcome systemic barriers. Katherine's work directly contributed to human spaceflight success and opened doors for women and minorities in STEM fields. She is a true example of how one woman's skills and courage can shape the modern world. Maryam Mirzakhani, the genius mathematician. Maryam Mirzakhani, an Iranian mathematician, made history as the first woman and the first Iranian to win the Fields Medal, the most prestigious award in mathematics. Her groundbreaking work in geometry and dynamic systems inspired mathematicians worldwide. Maryam's story shows that intelligence and perseverance can break barriers, proving that women belong at the forefront of science. From ancient empires to modern science, women have shaped the world in ways history often forgot to record. They led armies, ruled nations, explored the limits of knowledge, and defied traditions, showing that courage, wisdom, and determination have no gender. Their stories remind us that history is not just made by men, women have always been at its heart. And perhaps, the world will finally start telling all their stories. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe to uncover more incredible stories from history. Share these stories, inspire others, and remember, women have always been powerful.